Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So with regards to a previous video I did, building a new, more portable rig, I've got myself a new mini PC to run this rig, and yes, it has got smaller. It's the new Mele PC, and it's basically marketed as a PC stick. Now this is very similar to its big brother, the 4C mini PC, other than the fact that it is a lot smaller, as you can see. Now there are a few other differences, which is what I'm going to go through now. Now the reason this is different to their other PC sticks is their others always had slower processors fitted to them. They've upgraded this now to match its big brother, the 4C PC, and they've put the N100 processor in it. So you're getting a similar spec PC, similar power, but in a smaller footprint. Now there are a few differences, which is what I'm going to go through. Now as the 4C, it's still no fan, it's still and heat distributed out through the case. It feels a bit more of a plastic case than it did before, but it obviously works in exactly the same way as the heat's dissipated through the top and bottom of the case. So when I start using this properly, I will be removing these labels just to allow the heat to dissipate a bit better. Now as you can see, it is significantly smaller. It's actually around 5.7 inches long, 1.7 inches thick, and around 2.5 inches wide. Now it's similar length to the original 4C PC, but it's just narrower. And there are a few other differences. The ports themselves on the computer are now on the front, and there's only 2 of them. So you've got 2 USB 3s instead of the 3 like the 4C has, but you've still got your USB-C, which is giving you another USB 3 basically. On this end of the computer, you've got your Gigabyte Ethernet port, you've got your power input port, which they've stuck with the USB-C power input, and you've also got your SD card, micro SD card slot, and on the other end you've got 2 HDMI output ports, and you've also got your earphone jack there. The power button is on the front there. You can't really see it because it's quite disguised as part of the case, but it does glow blue when it's powered on. Now as regards performance, I've been using this now solidly for 7 days, and it's been outside in a waterproof case running my all-sky camera with the Windows software, and it's been powered up and on for 7 days, 24 hours a day, and it's run absolutely flawlessly. I have tried it with Nina and all other Astro software, and it works just as well as any other Mele PC that I've used. I am a fan of these PCs, to be quite honest, and the fact they've made one smaller has suited me perfectly for running a more portable rig. Now, like I said before, they have made these PC sticks before, marketed as PC sticks, but they've always had a less powerful processor. So I think this is a step up really, to put the N100 processor in this, but still keep it as a small form factor. Now there's a couple of downsides of this being smaller. Is whatever you buy, that's it. There's no upgrades possible. The hard drive is the eMMC hard drive soldered onto the motherboard, and the RAM is soldered to the motherboard. Unlike the Mele 4C, where you can upgrade and put a bigger hard drive in it, you can't with this. This is fixed at whatever you buy. Now there are a couple of models available. They're both 8 gigabyte RAM. There's no difference in those, and you can get a 128 gigabyte hard drive or a 256 gigabyte hard drive. This is the 256 model. So you've only got the 2 options. And like I say, the only way of upgrading the storage is by using the micro SD card slot, and you can put up to a 2 terabyte micro SD card in this, and you can run it from that. It comes with Windows 11 Pro, but it will run Linux or any other version of Windows. Now if you're comparing something like this to say the ASI Air, which I did fancy trying on my portable rig, but the problem with that is you're stuck with ASI equipment, and my camera's a QHY and TubeTech, so I can't use it, which is a bit annoying really, but you know, that's another story. You could actually put Linux on this, and then you could get Stellarmate Pro, and you could put that on at a cost of around, I think it's $45, $49, something like that, because that has a dedicated app. So you could basically run it like an ASI system, but it will work with any cameras, any equipment. As long as they've got Indy drivers, then they'll run with that. So that is an option. Like I say, it comes with fixed RAM, 8GB, and it's DDR4. It's the N100 3.4 gigahertz 12th generation processor. And it runs off 12 volts, and they've stuck with the USB-C 12 volt input. I did ask them, because I have reviewed their computers before, and I did ask them if they thought about putting maybe a USB-C to a 5.5 jack adapter in the box, but they don't seem to have listened to that, because they've not done that. But then this isn't marketed as an Astro PC, so I suppose, you know, you can understand. You can power this from anything from between 12 and 20 volts. Now, it does tell you to use the power supply that comes with it. That is a 12 volt power supply, but because it's got power delivery 3, it will just take the power it requires. So if you do power it from up to a 20 volt power supply, then that's not a problem. It will just take the power it needs, and it'll work from that. Now, one thing I will say is their previous models of this computer, the 4C, I found that running off a slightly more powerful power supply, mine runs off a 14 volt power supply in my observatory outside, and I find that you get better power from the USB ports. I had a problem with my mount not being recognised from a 1 metre USB cable when plugged into the USB ports on this when ran with the 12 volt power supply, but as soon as I upped the power supply to a 14 volt, it was recognised no problem. So I think that you do get a little bit more power from the USB ports if you run it from a slightly bigger power supply. That's just my findings. But you know, it is worth thinking about if you're going to use it as an observatory PC, and running a complete rig off this. Maybe, you know, plugging a power box into it, something like that. Like I say, it has power delivery, so that's not a problem. It does state in the spec you can put up to 20 volts through this, and it will just take the power it needs. So, like I say, I've been running this for 7 or 8 days solid, 24 hours a day, outside on my all sky camera, and it's been running very, very well. It's not missed a beat. I've tried SharpCap, Nina, I've had Askar loaded on it. It's all run perfectly well. You are limited to the 8GB RAM, but I find that that's more than adequate for Astro needs, especially for me, because I'm going to be using it on a more portable rig. So I'm not going to really be needing the power that this is prepared to give. It's got a remote desktop setup on it. Because it's Windows 11 Pro, that comes with it pre-installed. You can set that up. Again, it's not a problem. It runs well. It will boot as soon as it's powered up, but that is a setting in the BIOS that you do need to set. So at the moment the power supply is turned on, the computer will boot up. That is turned off by default. So you need to go into the extra options within the BIOS, and you need to turn that option on so that it powers up. If you're going to have it in a remote observatory, or in my case at the moment, outside, as soon as I set the power out to the power box, it comes on. You do have to set that up in the BIOS. At the moment, this is on offer at Amazon. It's $179.99 with a £10 voucher, so it's $169.99 at the moment, which is pretty good. It's slightly cheaper by about £30 or £40 than the bigger brother. So if you know, it depends whether you're thinking you might want to upgrade the hard drive in the future, which you can do with the 4C. Like I say, when you buy this, whatever model you buy, that's what you're stuck with, other than being able to put more hard drive space using the micro SD card slot. That's the only way you can upgrade it. So I just thought I'd do a quick video on this, just to really say that if anybody is looking for something that you could maybe use instead of an ASIR, you maybe want to move to a proper full mini PC with Nina and other PC software. It certainly is an option. It's nice and small, very light, and I can highly recommend it. So yeah, if you find that useful, let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a thumbs up and think about subscribing if you haven't already. And until the next video, thanks for watching. Clear skies, and I'll catch you in the next one.